Have you ever felt that intense pressure? You know, the kind where you're standing right on the edge of a really big decision,
Oh, yeah.
maybe launching a product, entering a new market, committing capital,
Mm,
whatever it is, you know it's going to shape the future.
definitely. And the weight of that, it's huge.
It demands total confidence,
Yep.
but often what leaders actually feel is, well, crippling doubt.
Mm-hmm. And that's the paradox, isn't it? In modern leadership, we're practically drowning in information, data everywhere.
Right. Analysts, reports, dashboards.
AI promising insights.
Exactly. But having tons of data doesn't automatically mean you have clarity.
No, it doesn't. And finding real discernment under pressure, that's rare. It pushes people, good people, into one of two
It's
camps.
extreme.
Either they get stuck, needing 100% certainty,
Mm.
paralysis by analysis, or they just jump. An impulsive move, mistaking speed for strategy. Both often lead to regret.
And today, especially, with things being so volatile, the cost of just not deciding is
Yeah.
massive.
Huge.
Being decisive, confidently, rooted in something solid like faith.
Yeah.
It's not just nice to have. It's your competitive edge. It's survival.
Absolutely.
So what we need is a framework, right? One that uses information, but doesn't get bogged down by it.
Yes.
So that's our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
Looking at ancient wisdom, specifically the leadership of Joshua in the Bible, we want to pull out a clear blueprint for decisiveness today.
A masterclass, really.
Okay, let's get into it. The core idea, the big shift in perspective from the source material is this. Being decisive isn't about knowing everything or removing all risk.
Yeah.
It's about having the right anchor first.
Mm.
Conviction, guided by wisdom, by faith. That's what you need before you step out.
That anchor is critical. Today's world, especially in business, it worships data, AI, analytics. They give you probabilities. They can even automate some things,
It's your tactical stuff.
but they can't give you conviction. They can't provide that moral ground, the why.
Right, so when the numbers look bad or the supply chain breaks,
Yeah, data shows you the problem's size. It takes conviction to chart the course when everything screams retreat.
which leads to that idea of pausing, but pausing with purpose.
Yeah.
It's not about inaction.
Exactly. Joshua's leadership, it wasn't impulsive. Decisiveness came after disciplined thought.
So leaders need that pause to integrate spiritual discernment, that moral core,
With the hard data.
and then have the courage, the guts to actually do it.
Think about Joshua. He's facing the Jordan River at flood stage. Impossible. Or the walls of Jericho. Impenetrable.
His metrics were not good.
Not at all. He moved because his conviction, his faith, informed his strategy. These weren't wild guesses. They were deliberate acts of trust, integrating everything.
Okay, so if we break down Joshua's framework,
Right.
the first phase seems to be about balancing that guidance with practical smarts. Phase 1, intel and prudence.
Right.
Let's start with something that might seem odd. Spying out the land after God promised it to them.
It is fascinating, isn't it? Because you think, why spy if God already promised victory?
Yeah, it seems like a lack of faith.
But it wasn't. It was actually incredibly prudent leadership. And importantly, learning from the past.
Ah, Moses' spies.
Exactly. 40 years earlier, Moses sent spies. Their report was all fear. It led to decades of wandering. They focused on why they couldn't succeed.
So Joshua's spies had a different mission. Not if they could win, but how to approach it.
Precisely. He needed practical intelligence, city layout, weak points, tactical stuff. But also, crucially, the morale of the people inside Jericho.
That's the difference, isn't it? Fear-based data gathering versus prudence-driven intelligence gathering.
Yes, like a modern pre-mortem analysis. Before you launch, you look for the failure points, the human weak spots, not just data that confirms your bias.
And what did Joshua's spies find?
They came back with tactical info, yes, but also the key insight. The people inside were terrified, faint-hearted, the text says.
So that human intelligence boosted his own people's morale.
Immensely. It showed that preparation is vital, even when you have faith in the ultimate outcome. Prep supports the promise.
Okay, preparation confirms. But then comes phase 2. This feels tougher. Committing resources and radical obedience. This is where faith seems to, well, override common sense.
Yeah, this is where it gets really challenging.
Let's look at the Jordan River crossing.
Right. The source material makes a point of saying the river was at flood stage. I mean, picture it. A raging torrent. Logistically impossible for, 2 million people to cross?
It defies physics, like facing, a guaranteed bankruptcy according to the numbers today.
Exactly. An insurmountable barrier by human standard.
And the command God gives, it's specific and frankly irrational. The priests carry the Ark of the Covenant.
The symbol of God's presence.
Then they have to step into the churning water first. Not the army, not engineers, priests.
Why them? Why first? Why not wait till the flood subsides?
It seems crazy.
But that specific instruction, the spiritual leaders going first, it highlights leading by example.
Yeah.
It required this huge public display of trust. The lesson for leaders facing those impossible moments is that sometimes the decisive action is stepping into the illogical, where human solutions just stop.
It's about the power of obedience.
Yes. Showing that the only way forward might be surrendering your limited view to a higher strategy. And the river only parted when their feet got wet.
Wow. So the commitment, the first step, had to happen before the breakthrough.
That's the principle. Commitment precedes the miracle.
Okay, powerful. Now, phase 3, executing the unified plan, the conquest of Jericho. Again, a military strategy that makes, zero sense.
Right, marching silently around huge walls for 6 days, then 7 times on the 7th day, and then just shouting.
Operationally, it's bizarre, inefficient.
Totally. And that's the point. You can imagine a modern CEO trying to sell that to stakeholders. Our plan is to walk quietly for a week.
Right. Why that specific strange sequence?
Because the goal wasn't just taking the city. It was also about organizational alignment, a test of unified patience. The strategy defied human military thinking precisely so everyone knew the victory wasn't due to their cleverness, but came from following the instruction. It required unified, patient obedience.
So for a team today, if leadership sets a direction that seems really counterintuitive, maybe conflicts with standard practice.
Success hinges on the team's humility, setting aside how we've always done it and trusting the direction. The key action at Jericho wasn't the final shout.
It was the silent walking.
It was the willingness to walk silently together day after day. That was the decisive obedience.
So Joshua's class teaches, use data wisely, spying, commit fully Jordan, execute unifying at Jericho. But like any good framework, it needs guardrails.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the supporting pillars, like the importance of wise counsel.
Yes, the sources emphasize this. In an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Real strength isn't doing it all yourself.
No, it's the humility to say, I don't have all the answers, and to seek objective, external perspectives.
And we see what happens when that humility is missing. The counterexample, Rehoboam.
Oh, a classic case study in bad counsel. He faced a critical decision on taxes right after becoming king.
And he got advice from 2 groups.
2 very different groups. First, the elders, seasoned leaders, decades of experience. They advised compromise, reconciliation to keep the kingdom together.
Sensible. And the other group?
His young friends, his echo chamber. They advised him to be harsh, punitive, increase the burden, basically stroke his ego.
And he listened to
his peers. He rejected the seasoned, objective wisdom for the advice that made him feel powerful.
And the result?
Disaster. That single decision split the kingdom of Israel permanently. It shows you have to seek wise, objective counsel, not just opinions that confirm what you want to hear.
So crucial. And the other pillar, risk. Specifically, kingdom-oriented risk assessment.
Right. Leaders have to identify and mitigate risks. That's prudent, but you can't eliminate risk. And the sources warn against playing it too safe.
Nehemiah, right, rebuilding Jerusalem's walls.
Perfect example. Constant threat of attack. Very real danger. He didn't avoid the risk. The task was too important.
So what did he do?
He mitigated it. Through prayer, yes, spiritual grounding, but also super practical action, strategic planning, having workers build with one hand and hold a weapon in the other. That's not risk avoidance. That's active risk management while pursuing the mission.
Which connects to those 2 big pitfalls that kill decisiveness when the pressure's on.
Exactly. The parable of the talents is pretty clear. The servant who buried his talent to keep it safe, he was condemned for inaction. Playing it safe is often the riskiest strategy of all.
Pitfall number 1, paralysis by analysis.
Yeah, that crippling fear of failure. Chasing this illusion of 100% certainty, you get so obsessed with mapping every possibility.
That you miss the window.
Exactly. The opportunity just vanishes because you waited too long, especially in fast-moving environments.
And the opposite pitfall.
Impulsivity, the rash leap, acting too fast without the proper groundwork, prayer, counsel, diligence, often driven by ego or fear or just impatience.
Like King Saul.
Textbook case. Facing the Philistines, feeling the pressure mount, scared his troops would desert.
He does the priest's job.
He makes an impulsive sacrifice himself, out of impatience, instead of waiting for the appointed time in person. He bypassed the divine order, ignored counsel. It was a major step in his downfall. Speed isn't strategy if it's pointed the wrong way.
Wow. So it really is about finding that sweet spot, isn't it?
That's it. Decisive action born from disciplined deliberation, not rashness, not delay.
And the framework demands that you, as the leader, prioritize clarity, even if it means sacrificing comfort.
Yes, because when you've done the work, checked your moral compass, sought wise counsel, gathered the necessary intel, acknowledged the calculated risk, then you can move.
Move with a conviction that the spreadsheets alone could never give you.
Exactly. And that kind of conviction, that commitment, shapes your organization's culture. It builds your legacy.
And that commitment to growth, to aligned action, that's what defines your choices long term. You're making decisions that echo way beyond just the next quarter.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, something to chew on, building on Joshua and these pitfalls. If courageous leadership, kingdom-focused leadership, means taking calculated, deliberate risks for a greater purpose, what's the big decision you might be currently, well, overanalyzing in disguise? Calling it prudence or wisdom, maybe. But is it really just avoiding the necessary risk, avoiding the obedience that's required right now?